Alright, it appears that I'm online. So, hello and welcome to a new stream in which I am building a city in Classic. This time we are in version 0.28_01, which brings in quite a few new changes. Like for example the fact that my position and hotbar final saves, which is quite nice. There's also the fact that there's the new block placement system, so it's just like in Modern, so I use right click to place blocks and left click to break blocks. So yeah, having that is nice. And there are also of course the new blocks like the brick block, plus cobblestone, slabs and all the other stuff which we will use to build. But anyway, this series isn't really focused on the new stuff which gets added throughout the versions. This is about building a city. So now I will show you what I've been working on in between these streams. One of the things that I've worked on is this area over here. A second, there we go. Anyway, I've made this beach area over here. As you can see, we've got some beach umbrellas, beach towels, some clothes, and some boys, not sure how the name is pronounced. Basically those floating things that are sort of tied together by a rope so that you don't really go beyond the area that they mark out. I like to sort of imagine that this is a sort of safe area where children can swim, and out there is a less safe area only for adults. And I've also placed them in to make it look like they are preventing the floats from floating away. Another thing that you might have noticed are these sand things. I decided to try and do some sand builds. For example, this one I try to make a sort of sphinx, small one. There's the head, the paws, and the body. Then there's a sandcastle and port of start, which has got like four towers and a wall sort of. Another thing that I've sort of tried to make out of sand is a small cathedral. So we've got 2 towers with entrance and sort of main body. And over here is a small pyramid which I decided to build. I think this area turned out quite nice. There are quite a few umbrellas, but there used to be more, but in the end I decided to sort of reduce the number because they were too close together at first. Anyway, I still plan to work on this area, add some more decoration, some more trees and stuff. It's still not finished. But for example, I need to connect the park over to the park that I have over here that stems from the greenhouse. I haven't yet connected, so I haven't yet connected them, so there's just this sort of gap in between them. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna need to decide about that later. Now, that's it for this area. Now it is time to move on to the next area where I've done some building. So I'm gonna teleport over to the gallery, which I've built in the last stream. And there we go. As you can see, I've done quite a few things. I've extended the monorail track, which I've worked on at the end of the last stream. And I've also added 2 stations I can show you them. I don't think it will take too long. With this station, I've sort of tried to use more natural materials like stone stuff, bricks, and wood. And I've also tried using these bars to add some of wear and tear. Maybe the world or can be like graffiti or something. Well, those can be also graffiti, maybe represented they are dirty. And I've added the mossy cobblestone to make it a bit more interesting. On the inside, it's very simple. Some benches to sit on, some plants, some windows to look out. Nothing special. And now if we teleport back to the gallery, I can show you the other station. I didn't make the jump, but that doesn't matter. As you can see, the other station, I think I accidentally said gallery, but station is a bit more colorful. You see some more interesting blocks. Another thing that I've also worked off streams is sort of making this sort of area, digging out the area underwater so that there's more space to make it more interesting. And I've also been adding these transitions so that there's not a hard line between the gravel and sand, but it's more a gradual transition. It's kind of glittering, and I've also done this with the gravel and the dirt. Anyway, here's the second train station, a monorail station, for which I've used some colorful old blocks, iron, and tried to make it look kind of modern. I think it all kind of well. On the insides, it's once again rather simple, with a sunroof over here, that there's some light on the inside, and benches, a iron to represent a vending machine, and some shelves, because sometimes when I visit some train stations there are sort of bookshelves where you can sort of take books and put in the books that you don't want, sort of an exchange. So I thought it would be interesting to put them here. You might have also noticed the lighthouse, which I'll show you in a bit. Another thing that I've added to this place is underneath here, which is this tiny house. It was inspired by a video I saw about some tiny Japanese apartments that were underneath railroad tracks. So I decided to build this here to represent the tiny apartment. If we go inside, we've got a very tiny kitchen combined with a living room, so we got some countertop, mini fridge, and a table with a chair. From here we can go to two places, either to a bathroom, where we've got a shower and a toilet and sink, and if we go up, we've got a bed over here and some shelves that serve as storage space. Very small, but it's still there. Exactly the feeling that I want to do. And you can also see some colors using gold and yellow wool. I will show the lighthouse. As we approach it, you may notice that it is made out of bricks and iron blocks. I decided, there are two reasons why I decided to do it. Firstly, because there's lava at the top, so I don't want the lava. So I didn't want to use like wall because it would set it on fire. I'm not sure if it would, but I've decided to do it just in case. And secondly, I've decided to do it because it looks kind of funny. And when we get to the top, you might have already noticed that I use lava at the top. That's because I wanted to make it look... I wanted it to have something that actually emits light. And the only thing that I can really get here that would emit light is lava. Of course, it doesn't emit light right now, but oops, but it will in the future. And that is it for the things that I have built. I plan to do more stuff in the future, of course. I plan to add some more stations to the monorail track. Plan to add one over here and a main station over there, where the track will split to different directions, so that I can... that is something for NFF and on, so that I can travel to like different areas. Because I plan to install some rails here, so that I can actually use it to travel around this place. But anyway, that's everything that I wanted to show you. Now it is time to move on to some building, and the thing that I want to build is a town hall. I already have a rough plan as to how I want to build it, and as you can see, I've already done some measurements and placed down the blocks. I haven't done too many measurements, just rough measurements as to decide how large I want the town hall to be. So I want to be quite big, sort of imposing. I want to be the alien park that you will definitely notice. Anyway, now it is time to start working on it, and first I'll start by placing in some blocks. I've decided to make the walls sort of 4 blocks tall, and it will be sort of invented. I plan to use like bricks, so they will be kind of like this, so that it's the wall has some depth. Well, almost 15 minutes, and no one has yet to show up. I had to actually check if it was, if this stream was public, and it is. Anyway, time to continue building. So that's the blocks, and now I need to do a bit of measurement because I haven't actually measured how long the walls are. So I'm gonna quickly measure that with some wool. Anyway, the reason why I'm doing it like this is for instead of future reference, so that I don't forget how many blocks it is. Makes it kind of easier. I'll explain in a bit. Anyway, this wall block is necessary. Anyway, you might have guessed the way it works. Basically, I've got the white wall blocks, which I placed the other blocks. Then we got this cyan one, which I place once every 4 blocks, so once every 2 white wool blocks. And there's this ultramarine, which I place once every 8 blocks. And there's this rose, which I place once every 16 blocks. And that way I can sort of measure that I got 16, 42, 48. And then I got 56 and 60, which means that this whole thing is 60 blocks wide, so it makes it easier to count in case I forget this number. And also it's easier for me to know where the middle is. Anyway, now I'm gonna start placing the brakes, for which I'm gonna turn on the auto clicker, which I forgot to do before the screen. And there we go, the walls are finished. Now I'm gonna start working on the floor plan for the first floor, and for that I'm gonna need to find the pillar first, which is this wall is 60 blocks wide, which means the middle is 40 blocks away from each end, and I want the entrance to be middle, so I can just look at 16 blocks, 24, 26, 28, 30. Here is the middle, I believe. So here is the front, and here will be the main entrance hall. Now let's see, I'll make the side walls out of planks and clocks. So what do I want it to be? I think this part could be nice. I'm gonna do it like that. And have a hallway over here, kind of. I think I do have a rough plan as to what I want to have on this floor. I think I'll have it sort of the whole window on the side. First I need to decide on a few things over here before I start working on, because there are a few things that I want to hear. One of them is sort of a information desk where we can sort of ask for help, and I think it would be I think it's nice like this. So now I'm gonna rip out the brass and replace it with something else so that I have a proper floor. And I'm gonna use the article for that. And as I said, I do have some rough plans for how I want the floors to be. the first floor will be sort of administrative work, that is what it's called, but basically it's the place you want to visit when you want to do some paperwork. The second floor will be sort of where the staff rooms are and where the files are stored and stuff like that. And the third floor, I don't say, but I plan to have 3 floors, but and the third floor will be where the mayor's office is, and also where the meeting rooms are, other stuff like that. I don't think that I will be able to sort of finish all of it on this stream, so I'll see how far I get, and I'll finish the rest of stream. And there's Nova. There was one review at some point, but oh well. Alright, there we go. Another thing that I think I'm gonna do is make this hallway over here kind of wider. I think 5 blocks is nice. Anyway, now that we've got that, I think I'm gonna work on the floor. And for that, I'm thinking I'm gonna use iron blocks and gold blocks. I think that will be nice. So let me just prepare the auto clicker because I need to switch between pressing the left and right mouse button. And let's start placing. Now, before I continue on the floors, I'm gonna add the base of the walls. And for these rooms, I'm gonna use the gold blocks to kind of separate these areas. Anyway, I'll finish the course over here, and while working on them, I've noticed I forgot to do the floors at the information desk and over here. I'm also doing them over here because these, well, the information desks will be connected to this place and this place as well. And as such, they will be made out of gold. Anyway, that is finished. Next up, I was thinking of working on the furniture, but I think I'm gonna work on the walls first, and I think I'm gonna make them out of gray wool. I won't be adding the wall over here because there will be I'll have glass over here and I'll add it later. Once I plan things out a bit more. There we go, that was quick. So now I'm gonna start working inside. The first thing I'm gonna do is work on this place, which is sort of a waiting room for people who wait so that they can go and do their paperwork if they want their ID. So one of the things that we will need is just a ticket machine or whatever it is called that will give you a ticket so that you have your number assigned to you so that you can get called when it's your turn. And I've decided to make it out of flaps. Now I'm just gonna add some sort of seats, which I think I'm gonna use some planks, and I'm just gonna place them kind of like this. I probably could have made this area a bit bigger. That would have been better. Anyway, now I'm gonna work on the information desk a bit, which I think I'm gonna some locks. Over here is the sort of ceiling that is also the floor of the floor above us. Second floor or first floor, whatever you and the information desk will have some glass and also some planks at the top. And there will be also a hole in the glass so you can properly talk to the employee who is there. Anyway, now I'm gonna start working on the inside. I have some things in here. So like table. Along with some things like the computer. chair to sit on. The dark gray wall can represent the rickety display and the computer itself. And now I'm also gonna extend these walls so that you can't see into the staircase. Anyway, it's time to continue working at the information desk. I'm gonna add some, replace the dirt first. And add some blocks which represents some storage. And we can maybe have some filing cabinets over here at the walls, represented using some iron blocks. And I'm trying to make it symmetrical. Seems that. Wait a minute. I think I know why it wasn't working. I was using, I think this space is basically even left, but I was trying to build the cabinets in such a way to serve the cap a odd length. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's confusing myself. There we go, this should be good enough. Now I'm gonna start working these areas over here. So the way I'm imagining is that there will be several doors and several sort of independent offices that will be connected through like here, that you can sort of walk around so that the office workers can talk about amongst themselves if necessary. talk. Just need to decide into how many parts I want to divide this thing. And for that I'm going to do a bit of counting to see how wide this part is. So it is 19 blocks, so I think I'm gonna divide it into 4 parts. That way I've got 4 wide each. I think that should be enough. Let me just check that my calculations are correct first. And yeah, they are. Anyway, the walls between the rooms will be light gray once again. I'm gonna done now. Now that I think about it, I probably should have made them of length. That could have been better. But because it means that now the doors won't be in the middle, I don't think that's fine. I'm gonna start adding the doors from the other side. Anyway, part of the wall will be made out of blocks, I think. Kind of like the information desk. And it will have some blanks at the top. And over here will be some glass. With some hole here so that you can observe pass the documents through that might need to be signed or something. There we go. So now I'm gonna start adding some furniture, like desks. And of course, because here I'm gonna need like things, so these chairs made with flaps. A computer, so I'm gonna add some obsidian for the displays. Maybe a bit more to the side. want to make it so that you can sort of look at it kind of like this, but you can also turn it towards the person who is visiting them. Which I would call them their armed customers. But matter. With the actual computer part. Oh, which I think I'm just gonna replace one of these blanks. Or here. Now some other stuff. I'm gonna need some iron. I think some stone to represent some sort of printers, scanners together that they will sort of share if it's necessary to print some documents for people, scan like stuff that's been signed. Alright, now I'm just thinking what more should I... Maybe I can sort of separate this place from this hallway a bit more. I think that would be good. And have a few entrances that lead over to the hallway. I think here should be enough. And I'm going to add some walls to separate these areas. There we go. Now that it is done, the next thing that I like to do is some more furniture over here, maybe some filing cabinets once again. I don't really have anything else right now, and I just thought of something, which are some plants. I'm gonna grab some leaves and also some iron to the cabinets. So I'm gonna add some plants over in the corners. I think I'm gonna make some papers a bit shorter. And add some more stuff, like the filing cabinets and stuff. I think I can make the filing cabinets sort of double white and add some paintings in here, and also to these rooms, since they are kind of next to the waiting hall, which can also have some paintings. Now I'm just gonna grab some random colors. Is good enough, and some paintings. There we go. And now over here as well. I'm gonna add some. This should be enough. Oh, no. I think this should be enough, so I'm now gonna start working on this part of the hallway first by adding some more plants. And maybe a bit of storage. Please store all the paperwork. And that I've just thought of is drinking fountains. Maybe they could be here. It could be useful for the workers. Maybe should be enough, and maybe some few more filing cabinets. Or specifically two. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, I think. So this thing should be the same width. So I'm gonna divide it into 4 sections, or rooms that are 4 blocks wide. Okay, so these rooms are 5 blocks long. Good to know. And I just realized I haven't added any chairs over here. So I'll quickly do that. I'm gonna decorate this hallway later. Alright, it appears that I'm up in rock. These things are not sitting which is a bit strange, since they could be. Maybe I didn't measure things out quite correctly. So I'm gonna quickly check some things. So this is 30 blocks. And this is only 28 blocks. So did I measure correctly at the start? I'm not sure. Oh, let's check things again. So this should be cyan should be once every 4 blocks. Ultramarine should be once every 8 blocks. Rhodes should be once every 16 blocks. So we got 16, 32, 48, 56, and 58. Yeah, so one's incorrect. It's 58 blocks. See, this thing should be 1 block over to the side. And 24, 26, 27. Oh, 16, 24, 28, 29. Yeah. So that means that I redo things like this hallway over here, and this waiting room and stuff. Well, I guess I didn't redo kind of most things since I didn't measure things correctly. Anyway, now, oh, now it should be measured out correctly. So now I'm just gonna count how wide this room is and divide it into smaller, and then fix everything up. I think I will need to fix this all the way. So it's 20 blocks wide. I'm thinking, okay, how many parts do I want to divide it? I think I'm gonna change things up and divide it sort of into 3 rooms instead of 2 rooms, and I'm basically gonna have 1 room that is larger and 2 rooms that are smaller. So let me just clean a few things up quickly. Now the question of how long the rooms to be. I think I'm gonna make them open. I'm first gonna try making the smaller ones 4 blocks wide and see how large the main one is. Like, see if it's large enough. And yeah, definitely more than large enough, so I'm gonna make them blocks wide. And sort of divide this into 2. And like so. And now I'm gonna start placing in the walls. And for this room, I'm gonna use some white wool. To kind of indicate that this is a bigger room subdivided into 2 smaller rooms by the ice. And I'm gonna add some of blue in the background. And a chair. I think I was muted, anyway, I'm gonna repeat. So over here you sit to get your picture, and over here you'll sit to do the paperwork, kind of tell the person your name, date of birth, and all the other stuff. So it will be divided since you are still working with the same workers. So Or maybe I guess it will. Anyway, as you can see, the design is same as before. So I'm just gonna add some glass. And now some desks. And over here one desk. Right, yes, that could be. Anyway, then some other stuff. Again, like computers and stuff. Alright, confused and I realized that this thing is better than these walls over here. Anyway, now I'm gonna add some thing over here to represent sort of the camera that's taking the pictures. It can be maybe moved to the side of it. And I'm gonna add some stone to once again represent the printers. And I don't think I'm gonna edit the other stuff. I'm not gonna move the plans or the filing cabinets. I think they're like this. So now I'm gonna re-add the doors and the paintings. And for it, I'm just gonna grab some random colors once again. And there we go. This side is all fixed up. And now I'm gonna do the other side. It'll be the same as that side. So once again, it will be 3 rooms with the first 2 on 5 blocks wide, and the third one will be subdivided into 2 smaller rooms. And now I'm gonna add some plants. Okay, so it's 2 entrances here. I'm gonna do that on the other side as well. And I'll also add some filing cabinets. There we go. add some paintings, the walls. I'm not sure how I walked over to this room. I didn't really need to since I could see the painting from the other side. Oh well, I guess I can use it to place the chairs. And to finish things off, I'm gonna work on this part of this hallway, which means grab some stuff for making plans and also the filing cabinets. Alright, now that after I built the things so that, which means that these filing cabinets are symmetrical. Thank you. Good enough. Now that that is finished, I'm gonna put back the benches and of course the ticket machine. I think I'm gonna have to. Probably not necessary, but I think it's nice. Now for the decoration. I'm gonna add some plants to the corners first. And here as well. I think that's a nice place. Anyway, I want to add some windows as well, or before I continue. I think some pillars on the outside at first. I'll decide where the windows will be. And for that I'm gonna need to do some slide. Basically this wall is 60 blocks, 58 blocks wide, so I need this block. What I'm trying to say is that this wall is 58 blocks wide, and I'm going to divide it into equal parts using pillars. I want to decide how wide each part should be. And I don't think that will be quite easy. At least not quite as easy. But to this side. Right, so I think that instead of having them each be equal size, I'm gonna make the one maybe a bit bigger. So let's see, I'm gonna make it 2 plus 6, 8. And let's see how many blocks it leads on the side. So that is 16 and 24. Which I want to add. I think I'm gonna make it 1 block wider. I mean, 1 block wider on the side. that will leave 22 blocks on each side, which, let me do some quick math. Isn't that much better? So I think I'm gonna make this wider once again. Wait, I think I might have miscalculated last time. And let me do this again. So at the start it was 3 blocks for the center, and I decided to make it 4 blocks, which meant that there were 16, 20, 23 blocks remaining. Yeah, so this time I was doing my math incorrectly. If I leave 23 blocks remaining, then I can divide it into three equal parts, each 7 blocks wide, which I'm gonna do. And my math was correct this time. So I'm gonna do the same on the other side. And yeah, my measurements are correct. So now I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite wall, and then finding cabinets are off center. Why is that? Oh, right, because I didn't fix on the shadows, so I'm gonna fix that and then do the pillars. Well, okay, so that I decided I'm gonna make them symmetrical. I'm gonna place them kind of randomly. Some will be 2 blocks wide. There we go. I think that's good enough. I just need mark the center. And do the pillars on this side. Oh, that's 4 blocks center. And then I divide into 12 blocks each. 7 blocks each. Okay, there we go. Everything measured correctly, I believe. So now it's time for the shorter side, which I'm just gonna quickly measure normally. And this side is 24 blocks wide. So the question is, I'm gonna divide it. I'm thinking of dividing them into 5 parts. Each should be 4 blocks wide. I think, if my math is correct. Because I'm feeling tired from this streaming, so yeah, let's try it out. And I'll see if I'm correct. And yeah, I was correct with my math. Now another question is, how do these pillars align with the walls on the inside? Well, not quite nicely over here. I'm starting to think that maybe instead of facing the pillars on the walls, I could make them face on the inner walls. So then they might not put up with the walls on the second floor. Anyway, I could keep it the way they are. I think that will be better. And try adding some those. Oh. That might work so well. Well, I think I'm gonna leave the shorter sides for later, and instead I'm gonna add both this wall, wider walls. It will be better. And so I can just add these 3 white windows. I really need to think about it. I'm gonna add more decorations later. And now that I think about it, I can really add windows to the side. Or I think I will, but not see all of these things, so I'm just gonna cut out some windows and get rid of any things that are in the way. Alright, now that I've got the holes, I'm just gonna add the glass in. There we go, and we are kind of approaching 2 hours. I'm feeling kind of tired, so I don't really want to plan things out, so instead I think I'm gonna work on the ceiling of the floor, or the ground floor, what do you call it? Since I don't really think about it. And there we go. I'm going to finish things up. I'm gonna do, well, add a few things. Firstly, something around the two staircases so that people accidentally don't fall in. Some blocks, be specific. And secondly, I'm gonna add some glass over there because apparently I forgot. And I'd say that will be it for building. Oh, there are two last things I want to do. Firstly, get rid of the gold that is over here. I don't need it anymore, I think. And secondly, I would like to look at this one sort of from far away. And I'm gonna do it for sort of 3 distances. So somewhere from here is a sort of short distance. And currently looks like not much since it's not really finished. Then I will look from the F station, and after that I will take a look from the lighthouse. Well, once again, doesn't look like much, but I feel like it will fit into the city nicely once I'm done with it. Also, I said that I want to take a look at this thing, but I also wanted to use this to look at the city a bit and to show you how the city looks from different views. Oh, I said from different views, but this is from this part of the map. And there we go. Things are looking nice from here. As you can see, the map is kind of, this world is slowly filling up. Once I finish building this thing, there will be sort of a big thing filling up the skyline, which will be quite nice. But anyway, that's everything that I want to do. So that will be it for this episode, this stream. Unfortunately, there weren't many viewers, so the only people who will really see what I did will be people who will be watching the shots. OBS shows me that there were 2 views, but I don't really think that were watched for too long since there were no chat messages. But yeah, that will be it for this stream, and I'll see you in the next one, where I haven't yet decided what I'm gonna do. So yeah.